How you guys doing today? What I have for you today in this video is I want to talk about the rumored iPhone 7s, which most likely it will be coming out at some point. However, apparently there's 3 new phones being announced to this: the iPhone 8, iPhone 7s, and the 7s Plus. I don't even know why I count this the third one. But other than that, those are the rumored 3 new models that will be coming out from Apple sometime in the fall, probably in September, probably around that time frame. But you know, there are rumors going around where the iPhone 7s and the 7s Plus could possibly be thicker than the 7 right now, due to the new aluminum glass back that will be used in the upcoming phones. We've seen manufacturers try to make devices smaller and thinner, but as the years go by, the sizes pretty much stay relatively the same, and at some point, you know, they want to making it slightly thicker than the previous generations, because obviously when Apple started out with the first generation iPhone, I think they made the 3G slightly thicker to fit the 3G radios in there, and the 3GS they kept the same size. Then they went thinner on the iPhone 4, then they went thinner on the iPhone 5, then they went thinner again on the iPhone 6, and the 7 maybe just slightly, but then they had to make it a little bit thicker. So it's like, it's impossible to make the phones a lot smaller. I mean, the only thing I can see in making a phone thinner than the most thinnest smartphone out there right now is to make the screen size bigger, but then you're going to make the width or the length of the phone a lot bigger. Therefore, it's not really a small phone. It's just something thin in your hands, which could be a good or a bad thing. You know, it depends on how good your grip is and if you can handle holding onto a very thin device. So, I mean, worst case scenarios, manufacturers have to make tough decisions here and there. And me personally, you know, with the size of smartphones these days, I feel like it's pretty standard, and I don't think it could get any smaller than what's out there right now. Now, I can't say that the sizes are complete, because obviously manufacturers make phones every year. Therefore, there are tons of smartphones out there. You got some from Motorola, HTC, Samsung, LG, OnePlus, Apple, Sony. So it's like there are multiple smartphones out there in the world. You can't tell which one's like the smallest size unless you grab every single phone and then line them up on the table, and then you can see which one is the thinnest smartphone out there. Now, I wouldn't make the time to do that, obviously, but other than that, like the sizes that are out there right now, I feel like no one can go any thinner than that. And in this case, they have to make the phone slightly thicker for certain reasons. What do you guys think? I mean, phones did try to get smaller and smaller every year, but they wound up getting bigger at the same time, not just by thickness, but also by length and the width as well. For instance, screen sizes. Phablets didn't exist until the Galaxy Note came into play. Then phablets started existing from other manufacturers, and then finally Apple got into it, I think maybe 5 or 6 years after the Galaxy Note. I forgot when was the exact launch date of that phone, but they didn't start making like the 6 Plus model until the Note 4 came out. So actually, I would say it did take Apple 4 years to finally make a phablet, a phone that was just like a tablet but a mini version of a tablet. That's, if you guys haven't known already, that's what we refer to as phablets. So I mean, manufacturers can try as hard as they can to make the devices more comfortable for the consumer to hold in their hands, to carry around. The only problem is you're also going to be concerned with like how much weight you're going to be adding onto the device. And for some people, they have a preference on whether they want to use a big phone or a small phone, or a very thin or a nice thick phone. I mean, back then, the thinnest device out there had a different picture compared to what we're using right now. For instance, the very first iPod, Apple claimed that was like the thinnest device out there. But here's the thing, this is my iPhone 5 right here, and then if you wanted to make this as thick as the very first iPod, you can't even double the size of this, because that's not close enough. I would say maybe at least 2.5 iPhone 5s would make up for the thickness of the first iPod. Actually, I take that back. 3 iPhone 5s stacked on top of each other to finally get the thickness of the very first iPod. So I mean, at this point, can smartphones get any smaller? Because manufacturers will run into issues such as making the devices smaller and thinner. Also comes an issue when fitting all those components inside the body itself. Because sometimes you need to leave a little bit more room for those parts to breathe. So it's like certain situations it makes sense to make the phone a little bit thicker, it makes sense to make it thinner. Obviously manufacturers want to try to make it as thin as possible, but I mean there could be an issue with having very thin devices. And now I've seen that manufacturers want to go into curved edges as well. That's another concern just to be very careful with, and I'm pretty sure everyone is way aware of that since the Galaxy Note 7, but I'm pretty sure that those issues have finally gone away, and if it were to happen, probably just once in a blue moon, but I definitely hope it doesn't happen again, because I did hear a couple of instances that like the iPhone 7 did explode in somebody's pocket one time, and I believe the response from Apple for that was not very positive, and it seemed like Apple wasn't caring to them, but then again, that's just the blogs writing these posts out there. So what do you guys think? I mean, do you guys think that like technology or like mobile devices can get any smaller or thinner these days? Like to see what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment. Also check out the description below for my social media links, Twitter and Instagram. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.